The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the hosts and guests as individuals, and do not necessarily reflect those of advertisers or sponsors. This show is intended as entertainment and commentary only. The producers strive for verisimilitude, but nothing said on this podcast should be taken as fact by the listener or viewer without performing due diligence.
That existence, the physical universe, is basically playful. There is no necessity for it whatsoever. It isn't going anywhere. That is to say, it doesn't have some destination that it ought to arrive at.
This is Keep Your Hat On, a show by three nerdy nobodies and one nerdy kind of somebody about nothing in particular. Keep Your Hat On is brought to you by the Narrowband Broadcast Network, NBBN. The focus is on you by PodSquadPDX.com, painless podcasting, and by the kind support of KYHO fans everywhere via Patreon. Create on your own terms. On this episode, our vaguely vacuous yet vivaciously verbose quartet tries to be brief. You kids just slay me. Anyhow, we've got sea organs, we've got poached plants, we've got Tai'S 3 songs, we've got sea creatures in organs. Don't know how that works. Anywho, I'm Michael, and I'm just as confused as you are about all of this, but let's just start it, please. Anyway, here's Andrew, Robert, Dr. Mark, and on the hydrophone, it's Chris.
And hello, and welcome back. This is Keep Your Hat On, the show where hell, even we don't know where we're going to go. I'm Andrew Scott, along with my good friend, Chris Vicano, and my other good friend, Rob Anthony, and my third good friend, Dr. Mark Peterson, professor of philosophy at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. And I'm not even going to ask how you jokers are doing today because I don't want to hear the crickets. But how's everybody doing?
And we've got crickets.
I like, we need to give the crickets their own, their own subheading.
What's up, crickets? How they're doing?
Probably, yeah. Hey, crickets, how you doing, man? How's life? So
mostly awesome. We're
good,
and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to our program today, which should be a lighter fare than normal.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Instead of a steak, you're getting a slice of bacon. But who doesn't like a good slice of bacon? Really?
I was going to say cheesecake, but okay.
Oh, don't go to the cheese. Actually, I got to say, I've been doing sugar-free now for about 7 or 8 years, and we've got it down to the point where my partner, Heather, makes such a good sugar-free cheesecake that a friend of mine and Chris and soon-to-be Tai'S, that's pretty much all he ever asks for. When his life goes to hell, I get a text that says, "Can you have Heather make me a keto cheesecake?" They are really good. And long gone are the days of weird chemically altered artificial sugars. Ever since we came out with monk fruit. Monk fruit's a really amazing thing. It is all natural and has virtually no calories.
Does it have monks?
Right? I was just going to say, and what part of a monk is the fruit? I don't want to, but no.
There's court cases about that.
Monk.
What was that, Ty?
Is it mung?
Monk, M-O-N-K, as in bow to the monk. No, but the replacement sugars, which are often called sugar alcohols, number one, for anybody that's listening or watching, if you've never done it before, do go in lightly, because suddenly consuming a lot of a sugar alcohol will really mess up your insides. It's something that you include slowly so that your gut bacteria changes. But one of the really nice things about it, and science has known about this forever, when you consume a lot of processed sugar, either cane or any other natural sugar, it develops a specific biome in your gut and specific bacteria. And when you suddenly remove it, all those bacteria are in your gut going, what do we do now? And then if you suddenly send in replacement bacteria, they die, but the good news about that is, as unpleasant as it might be for about a week, once you change over, The sugar alcohol that's inside of monk fruit, which is called erythritol, is actually really good for the good bacteria in your gut, and doesn't spike your blood sugar, and has a number of other interesting health benefits. But again, don't sit down to an entire cheesecake made by my girlfriend, because you will be one sorry bastard. We've got a bunch of really fun stuff coming up. We're going to actually do our very best. Not cheesecake. We're going to do our very best to keep this show and all future shows a little bit shorter. But meanwhile, right, I was just going to say, yeah, exactly. It's us. Yeah. So we're trying to set realistic expectations. But we're going to be right back and start the show after this. This is Keep Your Hat On. That is Dr. Mark. Wow, new toys. And that's Robert Anthony. That's Chris Vicano. I'm Andrew Scott. We'll be back in just a moment. Don't go anywhere. Fastest throw to break ever. And we're back as promised on Keep Your Hat On. I'm Andrew Scott, along with Dr. Mark Peterson and Robert Anthony. And we're throwing it over to Christopher Vicano. We are doing a little bit of a musical adventure today. A couple of our stories have to do with music, and who doesn't want to do with music? But Chris, what do you got?
Yeah, so this is my new favorite thing in the world this week. I am obsessing over this. So I want to start off. This is a music meets art meets architecture thing, but it's going to start off sounding like a little bit of a geography lesson. So
I'm good with that. I like knowing where things are.
Yeah. Well, and I had never even heard of this place until I discovered this thing, and I started reading about this place, and it's got fascinating history. So Zadar is a city in Croatia. In fact, it is the oldest city in Croatia, with settlements dating back to the Bronze Age. And it has changed hands many times. It wasn't always Croatian, because there wasn't always Croatia, obviously. It's been passed back and forth. It's been sacked a number of times. And rebuilt.
That's always great how you build your credential as a town by how often you've been sacked throughout history. right. And it's
very popular.
Fast forward to today, it's referred to by a lot of writers and travel guides as kind of the coolest city in Croatia. So it's a city right on the Adriatic coast, what's kind of so fascinating about it to me as a city is you've got ancient buildings standing right next to extremely modern buildings, and you've kind of got the whole sort of architectural history of the region expressed in the city.
Right. And to give people an idea who are just listening, as far as like latitude goes, if you think about Italy and you think where Florence and like San Marino are, if you go directly across the Adriatic, then you wind up running into Zadar, Croatia.
So among all of these, this is kind of where we pivot into the topic. Among all of these, this long history of this city and changing hands and getting sacked, Zadar was bombed devastatingly during World War II by the Allies, because it was in the Axis regions, and it's a major shipping port.
Right.
So it was just bombed beyond comprehension. So in the days after World War II, actually the days, weeks, months, and years after World War II, the good people of Zadar were scrambling to rebuild their city. And on the waterfront, I mean, it was just such a sort of knee-jerk, we got to rebuild. The waterfront basically ended up being this long, continuous concrete wall, which, I mean, if you think about it, who walls off, one of the most beautiful features of a city? It's coastline. People who have a lot of concrete, I suppose.
Well, that's the Soviet bloc.
So in the early 2000s, the city undertook a project to tear out this wall, and they had a competitive bidding process, and they settled on a project proposed by the architect. I'm going to mangle the pronunciation on his name. The architect Nikola Poached, I think it is.
Okay. Put it this way: you can fool me at this point. So sin boldly.
Yeah, I'm sorry to Croatians if I got that wrong. My apologies to Nikola. I'm afraid to say your last name again. In any case, so what they did was they tore out the concrete wall, and he installed a network of polyethylene tubes that went underwater. And they move in through the ground to a sound chamber, and then the sound chamber has a number of outlets on the surface of this nice viewing platform.
I can mechanically see where this is going. This is very
giant
cool.
patio, and what it does is it interacts with the sea, and the waves push air through the pipes and into the sound chamber, and then up through the outlets. So as you're down at the space, you hear all this wonderful, for lack of a better word, music. And it's the music of the sea. And it's called the Zadar Sea Organ. Now this is one part of a two-part piece of art, because he followed up shortly thereafter with another installation on the promenade there. Well, first of all, what followed was marble steps leading down into the water that sort of hid the pipes and give people direct access. So you can actually go down the steps and get your feet wet, and you got the water gently lapping against the steps.
Experience the sea.
Yeah, and this might be a good spot to hey, look at that, interjecting video. The second part of this piece of art is a 22-foot diameter disc made of layered glass with LED lighting elements and solar elements that lays flat. You can walk across it, and what it does is it spends all day capturing sunlight, and then at night the LED lights come on, and they harmonize with the sound from the sea organ, and do these array, the lights turn on and off based on what sounds are coming into it.
And I'm all about synchronized blinky lights. Anybody that knows me knows that that's my jam.
This visual experience. And from overhead, what's fascinating to me about this and why I'm sort of so obsessed with it is it actually looks like the light and color that you see, like if you're underwater. I mean, it looks like waves moving across these lights, the artist, to hear his thought process about these is the sea organ. He was aiming to communicate with the sea. He was aiming to give the sea a way to talk to us, and for us to listen. I mean, truly listen to the sea. And if you listen, you spend some time with the videos, links below. If you spend a few minutes with it, you start to hear, I mean, it sounds both familiar and very different. There's something really powerful in the sound. There's kind of a sadness in it.
It does sound kind of melancholy and mournful.
It is. Yeah. Very much.
And I think the obvious word here, which I'm going to go to, is ethereal.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I agree. And he conceptualized in the same way. He conceptualized the light project to have a conversation with the sun and the sky and bring light and color in. So that's the thing I'm obsessing about.
And that's incredibly cool. I'm always interested in projects that help bring you to a different interface with nature and with the environment. And anytime it's done, including music, I'm just all the more about it. It's the same thing. There are a number of parks, if you drive Pacific Coast Highway 101 through the Redwoods, Humboldt County, places like that, where a number of art installations have been put in U.S. forest areas that allow the trees with the movement of the wind to generate music. And it is unearthly, which is interesting and ironic because it is inherently earthly.
It's by definition earthly.
Yeah, but cool. And again, we'll have more links to that down below, but we're going to jump away to a break. This is Keep Your Hat On. We're pretty sure you know that. We're pretty sure you know that that was Christopher Vacano. We're pretty sure you know that that up there is Robert Anthony. And that, of course, is Dr. Mark Peterson. And we'll be back in just a minute on the Narrowband Broadcast Network. Don't go anywhere. Alexa, play the latest episode of Keep Your Hat On podcast on Amazon Music.
Here's Keep Your Hat On from Amazon Music.
So that's a thing you can do now. On Keep Your Hat On, the show where we don't know where we're going to go, and neither do you, but we're going across town to Robert Anthony. We're going down the street to Christopher Vacano, and we're going all the way to the beautiful rolling hills of the Kettle Moraine, at least for now, with Dr. Mark Peterson. And Mark, you've discovered something that's going on that, of course, you must bring to the world's attention. And what is this thing?
Yeah, to keep from going completely mental with the current situation, and which is called life.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's important to find these little breadcrumbs of joy dropped to help us escape from the witch that will put us in the oven to bake us with Gretel. If you stayed with me on any of that, okay, this actually
I did.
I was just going to make a bake-off joke, but
I was waiting for the little stick out of the cage door.
Right here. Anyway, this actually came up about 2 or 3 years ago to start, and it has to do. I have two stories. The first is the first one with the poaching of succulents, and I thought this might be like a strip club in Vegas.
Yeah, it sounds like a new fetish.
Yeah, Succulents Lounge.
Well, apparently it is a kind of a fetish.
I didn't know succulents were edible.
They're not.
No. Most
in
aren't.
fact, these serve no purpose except to make you look good. And
I'll give you the. There you go, Chris. Okay, carry on, Mark.
A handful of Korean nationals. This is from 2019. I have a more recent one. Were arrested going through Northern California, picking off just these little succulents. Like little cactus and so on.
Hens and chicks and stuff like that.
And you think, well, yeah, that sort of thing.
Okay.
And you think, what is the big deal? And this was 2 years ago when this is one of the first incidences. They seized 664 pounds of these things, worth $600,000.
Where?
$600,000.
How do I get in on this action? I didn't know that there was a black market for succulents. I got a shit ton of them in my yard.
Yeah. The black market is apparently huge.
Wow.
All of it, most all of it in China and Japan and Korea. And my guess is that there's this like mad dash for like having cool household plants. And they didn't cover this here, but it's only been about the last 10 or 15 years that people in China had households, which they do now.
Right.
There's this crazy building.
If you don't have a shelf to put it on.
Going on. So two more details here. There's a particular Chilean cactus, which is going crazy. And then there's the doodlilas, which I will show you what they look like. And this is the thing, is like, it doesn't look like, where'd you go, buddy? Here you go. It doesn't look like much. And there it is. It just looks like, that could be chicken or hens and eggs, right? I mean,
it's like your basic succulent.
The scrambled egg succulent.
These suckers can go for $1,200 a pop in the Asian.
Wow.
That's a little
Andy,
weird.
Let's get to it.
Can I interject a little question here? Is part of it that succulents just don't grow natively over there?
I think they must, right? There's succulents all over the world.
They're a pretty big phylum of botany.
Huge, and not just in California. Let me show you one more pretty one. The other, this is more recently, in the last year, the center of black market succulent poaching turns out to be Cape Town, South Africa, and I'll show you these little beauties. Yeah, I know, because where else would it be? There you go.
Talk about a new conspiracy.
There it is.
Oh, wow.
Oh, nice. Okay, see, that one I like. That one I think is pretty groovy.
Get this out of the way here so I can see what I'm doing. This rascal, there were 2 South Korean poachers arrested for 60,000 of these little beauties, right? Let's see. Italian officials raided more than 1,000 poached cactus plants worth approximately $1.2 million on the black market. So we just, if we were thinking about drug smuggling, we just really had this wrong.
I have a theory, and not only do I have a theory, I have a theory that actually plays into a story that's going to come up in a few minutes.
And what is your, or do you want to wait?
No, I'll say it now, and that is traditional Chinese medicine.
Oh, I thought about
that's
that
what
too.
I was going to ask.
These are not being used. This is like why they're hunting tigers in India and stuff, right? For tiger paw and all those.
I don't know, man. There are a number of compounds that are grown from. They're from lichen that grows in China.
Yeah.
And actually, at the beginning of the pandemic, my partner and I started taking some of them because they did show active antiviral protection. They also seem to make my liver hurt, so I'm a little concerned about that. But the only other thing I got is, the topiary tradition in Asian countries. Bonsai in Japan is the one that everybody knows.
That's more likely.
Because they they always like, the big push is for your thing, your terrarium or topiary or whatever you're going to call it, is unique and has things that are completely nobody else can get a hold of. But I can't for the life of me think that the market is that big.
I got questions.
Right?
Mark,
Yeah.
did you get anything from the lens of how they're being consumed on the other side of this black market?
Apparently, yeah. The everything I saw, because I did look up. My first assumption was the traditional Chinese medicine. They will, they've been stripping the world. The pantolins, for instance, are going extinct, right, and so on. No, apparently this is entirely decorative.
Huh.
And so my next question is, why is there such a big black? Why are they taking in such huge numbers?
Yeah, why don't you take one, propagate it,
farm it,
right?
right?
Yeah.
And then just go into
They're not hard to care for or maintain.
Well, I don't know. I've known plenty of people that can, kill dust bunnies by trying to, so, but.
True.
And does the government want these succulents in the country? That's
Well, and the thing that it brings
that
up
would
to
create
me,
the black market, right?
And it's
so if I say that this is an invasive species, and now all of a sudden there's a black market for it.
Yeah.
and remember, Mark, you and I were talking the other day when you brought this up to me off channel about the whole thing where earlier this pandemic, there were a bunch of seeds that were showing up in people's mailboxes.
Remember this? They, they were getting these shipments of seeds from China.
This is a legitimate conspiratorial thing. I mean,
I thought
from Amazon.
I thought for years that maybe the Chinese were actually taking their spent uranium fuel and melting it into pots and pans, small amounts, and shipping it to us.
Here, have a gift.
Yeah,
because that's what I would do.
Right? Well,
right. No, this is all decorative, apparently. This is not medicinal.
There must be something about, and I don't know if it's cachet or if it's, if it's kind of an animistic approach, which is not unsurprising in that part of the world.
I would bet you anything in
that
China
it's
right now.
about where it's grown. That makes it valuable.
It's middle class, conspicuous consumption, so that they can say.
And
they
also
have these things.
about how it looks. I just thought of a really good parallel, and that's koi fish. Because if you know how,
don't hold up your arm, Chris.
Oh, I like my tattoo.
I know you.
Koi fish. Koi.
Do I have to drive over there and point to the joke? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, sorry. Because koi, primarily are harvested in this one particular valley in Japan that floods every year, and it fills up with, and to them it's just local carp.
Right.
It's no big deal.
Yeah.
But then as the valley drains, they just walk out in the diminishing water.
The harvesters, not the fish.
Yeah, the harvesters, and they just pick up the fish and take them, take them to market.
So, Mark,
and it's all about the patternings and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah. So, but Mark, you're saying that you suspect that this is some kind of bourgeois botany? Is that?
Oh yeah, I think this is just decorative. Yeah, you have to remember the Chinese are just now developing a middle class, and they're going to go through all of the same horrifying lawn art. Of course, they don't have lawns there, right? But whatever that equivalent of horrible lawn art is, the Chinese middle class is going to go through it.
What's very interesting, though, is that, of course, we all know that the vast majority of pink flamingos are made in China. And with that, we're going to be right back on the other side of this break. This is Keep Your Hat On. I'm Andrew Scott, along with my good friends, Dr. Mark Peterson and Christopher Vacano and Ty, Robert, Anthony. And we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. No, seriously, don't go anywhere.
And here we go. Oh, I just broke my ring. Yep.
back on Keep Your Hat On, the show where we don't know where we're going to go, but we kind of do, because when we left at the end of last break, we were talking with Dr. Mark about this insane conspiracy to run off with American succulents and get them into China. But that put us in an Asiatic frame of mind. Of course, we just finished up with the Olympics. It was interesting and weird, and I still question whether or not anybody should have ever showed up. But, anyways. So, Mark, you had something tied into the Olympics that I know what you're going to talk about, but go ahead.
This was actually too good to pass up today as another piece of dessert for us.
Yum.
The equestrian events, of course, are a very serious bunch.
Oh, yeah.
And as you know, and the equestrian events in Japan ran into a real trouble with horses clearing jump number 10.
Yeah.
And this went on throughout the first few set of horses, and finally the riders complained and had it adjusted. And the reason, let me pull this up here for us, the reason that there was a problem
it was a big reason in defense. It was
with horses clearing jump number 10 is as they came around from jump number 9, they were exposed to this. And apparently they'd come around for the turn and they'd be exposed to this sumo wrestler's butt, and the horses would stop and not want to jump the fence.
Yeah.
I got nothing else but that.
Pumping the brakes.
What is going on? No.
Yeah, exactly. And they were trying to promote Japanese sumo tradition, and really what they did is just scare the shit out of the horse.
And you can see the horse here, even this horse, which is clearing the jump, it looks like, is looking askance. If I can use that word.
I think you can. I think you just
He's
did.
straight eyeballing that sumo.
He's eyeballing that sumo.
Right?
Yep.
I mentioned this in passing and in goodwill toward the Olympic Committee, which did, in fact, remove the statue.
Yeah, but not after some controversy, some cajoling. And if I remember right, there were a couple national teams that said that they would refuse to participate because they were saying that it was a health and safety concern, because the horses are getting so spooked that if they suddenly go over a gable and land and freak out, it's very easy to throw a rider, and a rider's going to go off and over the front, which is very dangerous as far as ways to land goes, because it almost always winds up with an upper torso injury.
I keep wondering what the horses were thinking.
So here's my question, though. So they finally removed it. Did they relaunch the event?
Apparently, yes.
Yes.
Apparently so.
Yeah. They just the Olympic Committee, the Japanese organizers just finally gave in and went, apparently you people don't appreciate good sumo. So, all right. Well, let's get on to the important business of the day. One of the things that Mark and Chris and Robert and I, and we're sure you all really enjoy, is music. And one of the things that we're trying to figure out avenues for is to discuss. Hit me. Come on. You don't whip out the uke and don't do anything. That's royalty-free music. At least we can include that.
Go, boy.
But, there's a very famous habit of people to discuss music by picking some of their all-time favorite songs. And, one of them is the idea of winding up on a desert island with only one CD player. But we're going into a little segment that we call... My Three Songs, starring Robert Anthony. This is a segment that we call My Three Songs, and we are throwing this first to our good friend, Robert Anthony. And Robert, what have you been listening to today that we should all be paying attention to?
I listen predominantly to Spotify. But if you go to a radio station on Spotify or Pandora, chances are it's going to weave off that initial song that you put in.
Sure. That's kind of the main thrust of those things is music discovery. You put in one thing and it spiderwebs you out into all sorts of different recommendations.
The problem is it gets into a little frustration, right? So because it gets so far, it will wander so far away from what you wanted to listen to.
Okay.
And so one of the things that I found, and we'll link below, is I found this website. Song Like X is what it's called. Song Likes. So you go to this this website, you punch in the artist and the song, and it creates a Spotify list that is listenable, likable, doesn't stray too far, but still leaves room for you to discover some new music.
Right on.
Really, really cool. I've tried this out, and 2 out of my 3 songs, well, 1 out of the 3 songs, I should say, comes from a playlist that I generated.
Okay.
So the 3 songs that I've been listening to.
And these, to be clear, these things are pretty new to you. Is what you're saying? These are new discoveries for you?
The last song on my list is.
Okay.
The other 2, I'm a frequent flyer.
Right on.
So, the first artist is pronounced Tinawarin.
Maybe.
I just fucked that up. Tinawarin is a band out of the Mali Sahara Desert.
Okay.
Really, really cool.
So Saharan Africa.
I'm not even gonna try. Well, okay, I'll try. The song's name is Tai'S, and I know that I mispronounced that, so we're gonna have to look at that. But we'll link down below.
We're a bunch of dumb white guys. We have plenty of forgiveness when it comes to pronunciation.
Yeah, I really.
We own that.
Really couldn't do that. I know I did. But the one that so what I found is with this Song Likes website is if you punch in something that is relatively superficial. So like I started with Roll It To Me by Paul McCartney. I got a bunch of music that was from that time era, and that was pretty much, the classic rock era kind of stuff.
Okay.
But when I went back and I put in Wolf Like Me by TV on the Radio, which is my second song.
Right on. And a good choice. I really dig that.
Yeah, TV on the Radio, they're cool.
Yeah. And I got a very, very robust playlist that included some stuff that I hadn't heard, included some stuff that I had kind of forgotten about. Mm-hmm. And that brings me to the third piece of music was Midnight Voyage by Ghostland Observatory.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was just the next song on that playlist, and I'm not sure whether I'm following it or not, but I'm kind of digging listening to it, and I'm digging listening to that whole playlist.
Right on.
Hey, Andy, what do you think about creating a playlist of this segment of all these songs that are going to come our way?
I think that is a capital idea, my son.
Can we link down below to that playlist?
We will be linking down below to that. We will absolutely be linking down below to that because it's free to do so. We're going to start building out a My 3 Songs Keep Your Hat On playlist. So do check below and follow along with us and give us comments and tell us what you like and don't like. We think that's interesting. And we think that you're going to find that interesting too. Rob, anything else to say on this?
No, those are just the first 3 songs. I think they're varied.
Stick to the uke, Mark.
I hope you enjoy them.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to hearing it, but we're going to take one more quick little break with a very important message for all you people out there. But until we come back, I'm Andy, that's Chris, that's Ty, that's Dr. Mark, and this is Keep Your Hat On. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Cool. I actually really look forward to hearing that. welcome back to Keep Your Hat On, and a special hello and welcome back to all our listeners around the world. This is our 12th episode, but we're growing, and we've got people to say hello to in far-flung places like Canada. But we've also got
You gotta watch those Canucks.
right, exactly. We've got
Canada.
hey, you better be careful, Ty, because we got people listening in Australia now. But we also have people. We have people listening. We have people.
Well,
listening.
hey, you listeners out in Australia, you let me know. Does Australia really exist?
I'm sure they're going to let you know. But we also have people to say hello to in places like Paraguay, and places like Tibet and Nepal, and all over the world. And again, a special hello and welcome back to all our listeners and viewers in India. We're honored that you spend some time with us every other week, and namaskar to you. But what?
Huh?
What? I said
What?
namaskar.
Yeah.
What about it?
I thought it was Namaste.
Namaste is the formal spiritual. Namaskar is a standardized greeting that you use when you're not aiming towards somebody's spiritual tradition.
Well, I just learned something really.
And that's something new. Everybody just
Boom!
except
son.
of course our Indian listeners.
Exactly. All our Indian listeners are going,
all knew
you
that already."
stupid.
you guys.
But anyways, I got a little something here to wrap up the show. Strap in. So we were talking about traditional Chinese medicine earlier. And, you know, there are, I actually include a number of TCM practices in my own health regimen. There are a number of things that I find both valuable from a personal approach and also from a scientific approach. There's a lot of stuff that's happened in traditional Chinese medicine that traditional Western medicine has backed up. But that's not always the case. So when you get constipated,
Bring it, Andy.
Yeah.
you know, we immediately think of tiny little chocolate squares or you know, your standardized pill or maybe a chug of something pink and chalky. How many people think about ramming a 17-centimeter eel into your rectum?
Oh, fuck you.
Hell no.
You cannot possibly.
Oh, you
Possibly.
can. Oh, you can, and they have. Not
Did you say
once.
17-inch or centimeter?
Centimeter. But don't worry, it gets worse. It gets so much worse. So there's been a news story. There's been a news story recently, and this is dated 7/29 of 21. So this is fresh.
That's funny.
A man in China has been hospitalized after using
Hostilized?
Yeah, no, he's sleeping with his pack as a pillow. No, he's been
Got
hospitalized
by the eel.
He's been hospitalized after using a live eel to cure his constipation.
Cure?
Now, yeah, cure.
Now, what? Okay, wait. Before
You're pumping the brakes really early on this story. I haven't even given you any facts.
I gotta know, why was he? I mean, yes, it's bad enough that you got a live eel up to your fucking rectum, but I mean, was there any damage? I mean, did the eel start?
You are
biting?
so ahead of the curve. Let me get the facts laid out.
Okay. Sorry.
Okay.
And I got the number wrong. It was a 20-centimeter eel,
Okay. So
which is
about this one.
approximately 8 inches.
Did he have to work up to that? What?
I don't know if there was some dilation that needed to happen. Most eels,
starter eels.
Right, starter eels, yeah. You get this kit, and it's 5 eels of different sizes.
Right.
No, so and look, I gotta say, I am not, listeners, right here, watch me. I am not defending this practice. I am simply,
or endorsing it.
Just get it done. I understand biomechanically why this might be some kind of idea for somebody. But yeah, Ty, to cut to the chase, the eel did what eels do. It went in the direction it could go. Brace yourselves.
Yes.
And chewed through his bowel and escaped into his abdomen.
Oh.
Who wouldn't?
Right? I mean, if you're asking me as an eel, yeah, I'm trying to come out no matter what. Yeah,
That's a shitty place to be.
Yeah. There it is. Okay, we've got at least 3 rim shots in this episode today, but this is not the first time this has happened. In 2017, one man tried the folk remedy, and this is according, and of course, links down below. This is according to a Newsweek article. In 2017, one man tried the folk remedy as per his friend's suggestion.
See, that's where it starts.
And the 49-year-old man was rushed to the hospital where doctors performed an emergency surgery to remove the eel. When they asked him how the eel had gotten into his system, he told them it swam up by itself before eventually confessing that he had put it there. He also wound up having to have an abdominal surgery. And in 2020, well-trusted Fox News reported a similar incident. In that case, the eels, quote, and again, brace yourselves, tore through the man's intestines, causing a serious infection, end quote.
Yeah,
we
what's
opened it.
interesting about this?
Oh, really? There's only one thing.
Is there more?
Just one thing.
We opened him up and we noticed a large amount of fecal water mixed with blood. There, I said it. Now, comments, the floor is open.
So you know what's interesting about this?
Please tell me.
Is that the eel, when confronted with the impacted stool, decided it would be easier to chew through the guy's intestines.
Right. Well, if you're going to be throwing up roadblocks to my progress on your behalf.
Yeah, nope, I'm not going through that.
The eel had one
This is a bunch of bullshit, this is.
Oh, man, that's too much. I mean, I'm listening to this story thinking, man, this sounds like an old Andrew Dice Clay bit. You know?
Oh, I just ran into a better line that I have to go out on. I have to do this.
Let it be so.
Okay.
Quote unquote, there was severe swelling and we found 2 very thick swamp eels at the bottom of his abdominal cavity, whoever the person was added. As a result of the incident, the man required repairs to a 2-centimeter hole in his colon in addition to one of his intestines. Dear listener / viewer, no matter where the fuck you are on the planet, please just take X-Lax. Please. Drink a giant glass of salt water. Do anything but stuff eels up your rectum.
Can we safely say that this is a Darwinism event?
You know, you gotta go that direction, don't you?
I mean, because really, if you're gonna hold, I mean, just holding a live eel.
Just holding a live eel with your hands, I'm already squinked out by that.
Yeah.
You know,
and where you think that that's safe to like insert?
Nowhere. Insert it back where it came from.
Yeah.
Mark?
Put it back in the water or whatever.
How did they miss the Lemmy Weeks sequel with this? That's what I want to know.
Oy. Well, you know, if we haven't brightened up your day by now, listeners / viewers, you can always just go to bed tonight going, at least I didn't stuff a live eel up my ass.
I can think of something worse, though.
I'm sure you can, but you're going to tell us anyways.
What happens if you stick the eel up your ass, it eats its way into your cavity, your abdominal cavity, and it lays eggs.
And on that note, we're out of here, folks. This is Keep Your Hat On.
Good night, folks.
Wow, yeah, we've hit a new level of something here, guys. I don't know what it is. And give us a Pikachu, something to smile at as we go out. Do us a favor, please remember to like, click, and subscribe in spite of this episode, or because of it, we don't know. But honestly, folks,
he's gone.
Yeah, we've wasted enough of your time with our frivolity and our smiling faces. I'm Andrew Scott. That's Chris Vacano. That's Robert Anthony.
Have a good week.
That's Dr. Mark Peterson. And again, from everybody at Keep Your Hat On, don't forget, wear your masks, get your shots, take care of your fellow man, and remember, keep your hat on, because we may end up miles from here with eels in our asses.
No.
Until next time, everybody, take care. Bye-bye. And try to recover. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.
Well, there's a chunk of time you can't get back. From Portland, Oregon, this has been Keep Your Hat On, a big little show about a whole lot of nothing in particular. Keep Your Hat On is a narrowband broadcast network production in association with PodSquadPDX.com. Andrew Scott, executive producer. Robert Anthony and Chris Vicano, associate producers. Our theme music was written and produced by Andrew Scott, along with help from Ron Kajawa. Website design and maintenance by Vicano Creative, Chris Vicano Webmaster. Available at VicanoCreative.com. Audio and video production by Andrew Scott, available at AndrewScottMedia.com. Got ideas or comments for the show? Email us at talkback@kyhopodcast.com, and don't forget to like, click, and subscribe. On behalf of the boys, I'm your announcer, Michael Brumage. Thanks for listening. I guess.
My hovercraft is full of eels.
What?
My hovercraft is full of eels.
Ah, matches.
Yeah, matches.
NBBN.
The Narrowband Broadcast Network.
The focus is on you.